You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Center. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at memes, gonna listen cream, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Center. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is season number 3, episode 18. And tonight we welcome John and Jacob, the Xco Gamers, to the show. What's up, guys?
Hey guys, how you doing?
what's going on? Welcome. Thanks for coming
Good
on.
to see you guys.
Thank
Thanks
you for
coming
having us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
on. Hey, you're welcome. So please tell us who you are and what you guys do.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were former coworkers at a video game store. We're not going to say the one, but they're pretty popular here in America. We worked together. We really hit it off, and then we started talking about collecting games. And we've been friends really for what, 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
now. And then we've since departed from that company and have started our own podcast called Xco Gamers because we're ex-coworkers.
Oh, okay.
No, I like it. That's cool.
I thought you were like co-op gamers and you had a huge falling out, like playing like Mario Party, and that was the end of it.
No, I keep saying that he needs to take me on a Mario Kart because I have not been beaten yet.
I don't want to embarrass them. It's just I
Oh
don't
my
wanna
goodness.
cry.
He can't take the heat.
Oh, dude, Mario Kart is quite competitive. Like, I don't know, man. I used to remember playing that like when I was younger with like my nieces and nephews and stuff, and I would try not to like cuss and stuff with them when I was playing. And it was like, really hard to in that game. You know what I mean? You like those turtle shells.
Oh man, the blue one.
Yeah, of course.
Not into friendship.
That in relationships.
Or when you're playing with someone who isn't at that skill level, so you have to sort of slow down a little bit, but you also still want to win.
No, I live by one rule and one rule only: no mercy in Mario Kart. I do not discriminate age, man, woman. I've beaten them all.
Destroy them.
I don't even mind the blue shell as much as like it's more like when I'm in like 5th and someone like hits me with a red shell. I'm like, why you gotta kick me when I'm down? Why you gotta humiliate me? Like I'm not even winning.
Yeah. When somebody hits me with the green shell because they have to aim, I'm like, you know what? That was deserved. Like,
Yeah, I'm more likely to hit myself with the green shell than somebody else.
oh yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
definitely.
Or it's like when you
whiff,
drop
just-
bananas and then the next lap you hit your own bananas.
Yeah. Talking about being done.
Yeah, it's because it makes sense because it's like your lines that you like to go on
Yeah,
a map, like
yeah.
your paths you like to take. That's where the bananas end up, you know. So I don't know. It's good stuff. Oh, classic competitive stuff. Yeah, for me though, it's the ultimate friendship owner like ending games were always Mario Party and Overcooked. Those are the two that are just like, oh man, we're more likely to. Oh, if you want to test your friendship, if you guys really want to see how good your friendship is, play some Overcooked.
Mario Party's the regular player. I was playing with my buddy the other day, and we had the AI playing as well, and he had the thing where you like steal coins off someone else, and he just looked at me and took mine, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I'm not taking the AIs."
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, it turns into like a 4v4 with AI into a 1v1 where you're just trying to sabotage each other.
Yeah. Well, the AI characters in those games are garbage. Like so when you're playing with like 3 people and you get like the 2v2 games and you get stuck with the stupid computer, it's the worst. You know what I mean? Like, you got 2 humans just like, and then the computer's just like being just completely oblivious. Like, oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, we had one where it's like it had 6 allies, and it's the path to get the egg or whatever you need, and it goes for another ally. Like at the end of the game, it's like, okay, you've got 7 now. Good luck not using them.
So yeah, you
That
guys do a lot
actually
of.
brings up an interesting topic of AI in video games. There's a lot of video games these days, especially online games, when the servers start to go down, they have to bring AI into the game, otherwise known as bots. And they have to skill these bots because you can't make them terrible and you can't make them overpowered. So it's such like a interesting fine line where you get bots in games. And I played PUBG, for example, and when they first came to the game, they would just stand there and shoot and miss you purposely. And then they had to like program them to be better because people complained, and then they had to dumb them down because people complained. And yeah, it's interesting how AI is designed in video games like that.
Yeah, and some people, there is no happy medium for players, especially like with PUBG. You can make them as smart as you could, and people would complain. Like I know in Call of Duty, like playing with the bots, like back in the day, single player, you put them on veteran, you would be walking, and they would just immediately, without even being their peripheral, they would just turn to you, and it's like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah,
I remember
like you can't add that whole element of surprise to an AI when they know where everything is,
Yeah.
the true test of a real AI, if you want an authentic experience, is they need to make them teabag people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I'd be like, okay, now I feel like this is real.
And if it could throw some insults about my mother in there too, so I feel right at home.
It's like through the text. Yes, exactly.
That would be gold, though. Imagine getting killed, and you're like, oh, that was a bot. And then it comes over and teabags you. You'd be like,
Yeah.
what's that bot?
Yeah, or if you shoot it and it asks you to fight in real life, like
Yeah,
you're-
Walmart.
Yeah.
1v1 me, bro.
Oh my god.
I'm a guerrilla warfare ops. No, I'm just kidding.
My dad's uncle knows so and so from Sony, and you could be onto something though, Joe. It would be like a funny spoof type of video game to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if I was in charge of AIs, it would be a good time. They'd be like all of the time. They'd be like, you spent $3 million on this. They can't shoot. I'm like, yeah, but watch this. They teabag. He mooned them. Look at that. You see it? Look at. I made him whiz on this guy. Look, he whizzed on him.
I'll tell you one game that does AI pretty well. That's chess.com. Chess.com is got like multiple levels of AI, and depending on your skill, you can verse the computer, and it's good at chess. So, I mean, it's a simple game, but they do it really well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at chess.
No.
They would whoop me.
I don't play it much either, but I respect how big it is these days.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
game that's been around forever, and it's one of the most popular games on Twitch in 2024. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it's
That is crazy.
You even have
Really?
these people set outside and would challenge people and like play them twice. If they beat them, they won't play them anymore. And it's just insane how good they are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't play it much either, but I just watch it all the time on Twitch. It's really cool.
I only
So, what are
played-
you guys into collecting?
I'm more of a casual collector. I really only like grab games that are of interest to me or I think would be fun to play. Like one of my recent pickups was Pirates of the Caribbean World's End. Not because the game is good or anything. I just thought it'd be fun to play. And I got it for $3, and it's definitely worth $3.
That's
Not a penny more. But you're a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more extreme on that. I'm going for a lot of complete sets, not all at once,
wow.
but just kind of tackle a couple. Like right now, my main one's Wii U. I'm about 20 titles away from being done with it, and then I'm going for PS4, of course. That's big one I want to tackle, and then I'm working on PS3 right now.
The only one that I'm like real big on is the Nintendo 64. I'm trying to get the complete set of that. Small library, but I haven't been slacking on it. I haven't been doing as many 64 pickups as I should have been.
So they're gonna come out with an was it Analog? I think is coming out with an N64, and
Mhm.
I would really collect that now if you were planning on doing that. If I were you, because I feel like that's going to like increase people's interest in buying those. Not that it's already not peaked. I think the N64 is kind of hot right now in general.
Absolutely.
But
Been hot for a decade.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to anywhere. Yeah, I guess the
Yeah.
question is about your goals, guys. Jacob, you first. With the N64, are you going for just loose cards, or are you going for complete in box?
Yeah, I'm going easy mode. I'm getting the loose cards.
Nothing
There's
wrong
a
with
couple
that.
games I've picked up with the box. I think it's Tetris Spear and Motocross 2000, and it was only because they were kind of cheap and just there. So I just went ahead and grabbed them. But for the most part, I do loose just because it's a little bit more affordable for me right now.
I found a lot of N64 collectors all do that at first, and then say you complete the set and your passion's still there, you might start upgrading those games to get the boxes and things like that later down the line.
So you mean to tell me I might be going further down the rabbit hole than I imagine?
Yeah, the rabbit hole has no ending. In case, like, I've discussed this several times, but like, what is a complete set? Like, that can go on and on and
Absolutely.
on and on, because you can just be like, well, I got all the American games. Well, now I'm going to get all the ones that were released in Brazil too, and then all, you know what, I'm going to get the PAL games too, because I got this thing that plays PAL games, and you know what, there's only like and exclusives from Japan. You know, I can't speak Japanese, but why not? I'll get those too. You know, hey, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, there's variants. Oh yeah, this is this country got this blue one. Well, I need the blue one, and I'm gonna get the blue, and it just goes on and on and on.
It gets to
on
the
and
point
on.
where it's like,
Home
you mean
brews. and-
Capcom moved 3 suburbs away and they changed the address on the back cover? Take my money.
Why not? Why not? You know, the 64, and there's so many like different versions of the console. You know, there's blue, there's red. So there's people out there that have like every single one. And I'm still over here with my charcoal gray, like, yep, this is what I got. And then he's over here talking about his jungle green, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not that exotic.
Yeah.
I had
That's another rabbit hole itself, collecting consoles. Like, it
Yeah.
can be beautiful, but consoles take up a lot of room too. So if you've got a big
Indeed.
console collection, you're taking up room for a lot of video games that could fit in that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have a big console cabinet here to our right, and like I have my PS3, my Switch, and my 5 and my Series X in there. And then on the bottom, I have the consoles I'm not playing a lot, and they just take up so much room. And then like with the podcast, I moved I've been altering it every episode to put in a new system. So like we knew we were going to be on here. So today's episode was the PS2 with Ratchet and Clank going in the background.
Oh, nice one.
Nice, dude. I love the little CRT. It's awesome.
Best Ratchet and Clank games, by the way. The PS5 one was good, but I think
Yeah,
Ratchet and
I
Clank 1,
enjoyed
2, and 3 are the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a game that I would like to see remastered for the 5.
Yeah,
I would
I'd
like
like them to do 2 and 3 because they did number 1 on PS4, but we haven't got 2 and 3 yet.
That's true.
I think they should just do like a full on collection. Like, you know how they did the remastered collection on PS3. They
Yeah.
should do that again on PS4, and they should do that with the PS3 games. It's like how there's like 7 Ratchet and Clank games on the PS3 or something. Or I don't know, 6
Yeah.
or 7. There's
Yeah,
so
I mean,
many.
they're good games. They're not PS2 quality, the PS3 ones, I would say.
Yeah, it would be. I don't know. I wouldn't mind like a 2-disc collection. I would just. I
Or
like.
do the trilogy again. Like, obviously, it was on
Mhm.
PS3, so it can fit
Yeah.
on a disc.
Mhm.
You know,
I agree.
remaster it for PS4. It's a Sony IP. You know, that'd be literally it's the same as Nintendo going, let's put Super Mario on a new system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't
Yeah.
Sony do that? Like,
It'd be easy.
crazy.
Yeah.
I got into your collection, John. That's a really ambitious goal, man.
Yeah.
My first thought is, how many shelves have you got, and how much room have you got to put all these games in?
So when you break it down, in my apartment, I only have my PS4, my Switch, and my 3DS collection. then my mom's a collector as well. So in her house, I have a bigger game room. So that's where most of my collection's at. And I keep it kind of mainly over there because she plays a lot. I don't think I'll finish all of my goals. Like, I don't think I'll ever have like a complete set of everything. But the ones I do want is like the PS3, PS4 for sure. And end goal is kind of to have like a small museum that I can go down. If there's a game I want to play, I don't have to worry about it. It's there and I can just load it up and go.
Nice,
But
man.
my mom is one of the big reasons I collect. Me and her just as much as we play for the game. So she'll go out shopping and buy something here and there for me to add into it that she thinks is cool. And it's just been a blast. So I just she collected when she was my age and she passed it on to me. So I've just grown with it.
I mean, that'd be fun sharing the passion with your mum as well. It's really cool.
Oh, it's a blast. And she's crazier than me about it. Like when Skylanders came out, that was like her thing. She had to have every Skylander. It didn't matter what it was.
Nice. I had another question about the PS4 set. Are you including limited run games in
Yes.
that?
Yep.
Oh,
I do. I don't buy. I mainly buy those because I use Macari sometimes, not a lot, but a good bit, and I'll find them pretty much cheap on Macari, and that's when I'll buy them. I try not to buy them when limited because it's just gotten crazy to keep up with. At first I was, but now it's just impossible.
as long as you get those big titles that you sort of know the ones that are going to be exciting because everyone's excited for them before they come out and things like that. So if you get those ones and then the ones that you're like, never heard of this game before, I'll just wait till I can find it cheap, then it's definitely a good goal.
Oh, wait.
And then my next question was, are you doing just North America or are you doing PAL or...
So I was thinking about going crazy and going PAL, doing Japanese, and then the girlfriend gave me that look like, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. So I'm staying mainly with just North America right now.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Well, the PAL region has an absurd amount of PS4 exclusives. So it's oh my god, dude. Yeah. Germany alone has its own genre of games, I'm telling you. And it's like, oof, these things are just like, just quality stuff.
I would even argue that like the Asian region is where it's at because there's some really amazing Asian exclusives that play in English and they're not available anywhere else. And if you don't buy them today, they're generally going to be really
very expensive
down the line. So.
That is a goal of mine, is to maybe eventually travel to Japan and grab like a game for each of my systems that maybe is not sold here.
Yeah, nice. That's always cool.
I think that's like every gamer's dreams to like take a mecha to Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like a spiritual
absolutely.
thing, at least once in your life. Yeah, I would like to do that too, and just go there with like $5,000, load up.
$5,000 and an
duffel
empty
bags.
suitcase.
Yes.
Have you guys ever done that before? Got on a plane with an empty suitcase with the ideas of bringing it home with video games? I've done it a couple of times.
I'm not. That'd be awesome.
We do a lot of local. Now, I will say, when I went to England, I went to their version of GameStop, and my mom was laughing at me because she knew I wouldn't be able to play them until I got home. But I was like, it would be really cool just to have some PAL versions of games. So I was like, I don't have this one. I don't have this one. They were doing a buy two get one. I was like, well, might as well take advantage of the sale. So I came home with like 6 games in my personal bag that I just like had stuffed in the laptop pocket.
Yeah, nice one. I've had a few interesting conversations with customs where they're like, what's in the bag? And I'm like, video games, and smiled. And then they're like, what else? And I'm like, that's it. And then they open up 200 video games and they're like, oh, you were serious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Usually it's a laugh after that. Most people are pretty reasonable. I haven't had any, like, open all the sealed ones or anything like that happen, thankfully.
Oh, good.
Yeah, American customs, at least in my experience, like when I went to England and went to their customs, they were super nice, like felt very welcoming. And when I came back to America and went through customs, I felt like I was being interrogated. Like they were super dry. They're like, do you have anything you want to say? And I'm like, no. Like,
yeah, no, you're definitely spot on, man. Thankfully, I've done trips to America, but I'm buying games in America, so I'm taking the empty suitcase there, and I got nothing to declare, and it's, you're taking stuff home, so you don't have to deal with the American customs. I'm dealing with the Australian customs.
Yeah, I have one that's like
done something like that.
no. I mean, I've traveled overseas and stuff like that, but like I was I can't tell those stories what I was bringing back.
Hey,
Joe,
podcast, right?
I can't incriminate myself. No, I never brought back video games.
Came back on a tinny, sneaking in international waters.
That's cool. You see those movies where the guys come up from the ocean with like the scuba mask on? Like that's when I come off the boats, go through the harbor that way, and no. Yeah, I remember one time I traveled to Europe and I came back and this was like right after 9/11, I think, or right around then. I think it was afterwards. I'm pretty sure. No, it was definitely afterwards. I remember because I quit the job. Yeah. And I was expecting like severe like security, you know what I mean? Like when I came back, and like literally the guy like just like looked at my bag, and I had like a CD player Walkman because this is the olden days. This is the good old days. I had my CD player, and he just goes, "Open up the battery compartment." And I'm like, okay. And I showed him that, and he goes, "All right, you're fine." And he just goes, that was it. That was the entire thing. No pat downs, no scans. They didn't look through my stuff. I'm like, I could have had a dead body in here. And nothing. They were just like, he just wanted to see my battery compartment on my Walkman, and that was it. He was like, all right, yeah, you're good. I'm like, dude, what the heck? I don't know. So, but yeah.
You could probably relate though. They would have, as employees, been told, "All right, you have to be the most, through thing ever," and they would have copped it from their bosses after everything happened. So I'm sure they would have felt over it. Like, all right, 99.999% of people are normal, and I have to treat them like criminals. I just want to do my job. So.
No, dude, I'm so old. I literally I remember flying before the TSA existed. That's how old I am. Like there wasn't anything like that. You just get on a plane. It was crazy.
I'll tell you what's crazy for me, and people who aren't in America will relate to this, is you take your shoes off at the airport in America. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. That's like the one place where I'm like, I don't want to be barefoot here.
Like, I have to make sure I have like quick slip-on shoes, so I'm not holding up anybody at the end of the line as I'm hobbling, trying to get the other shoe on.
You gotta take your belt off, and oh my god.
They can go through the scanner. He's got video games in all his pockets. They're like, what is with this guy?
Pulling out the Game Boy cartridges, just like dumping them into the thing.
That would be me. They'd be like, well, I got a PSP in this pocket. I got a Switch in this pocket. I got a Game Boy Advance in this pocket. I got a freaking.
Well, do you want the games too?
Hold on, I got them back here somewhere.
You're just pulling out all these loose carts and everything.
Yeah,
sprinkle them on top.
So I haven't done, like I said, much traveling and buying video games, but like one of my resolutions is I would like to start going to more conventions. That's something I would like to do, and because you can get some good deals, I think that'd be fun. It'd be cool to meet some more people in the community, get out of my house, do that sort of thing. So that is like something I would like to do more in the future. Not maybe I would love to go to Japan. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like if I'm talking about a trip with that sort of money, my girlfriend's gonna pick somewhere not Japan. We're not going there. She'd be like, fuck no, we're going to Paris, motherfucker. Like, no. When we'll come down to Australia and see you, Figsy. Go on the Outback, eh?
Sounds good, mate.
Find us some Tasmanian devils, eh? I don't know.
I mean, it'd be fun. There's video games down here. There's plenty of countries that haven't got video games.
Yeah, if I went on a big trip just to buy games, I don't know how that would go. Be better off if I got her a trip somewhere else and then I went on my own trip, something like that. I'd be like, you can go to Vegas. Woo!
Guess what? You're going to the Maldives, as I'm going to be in Japan that week. Like, connecting flights from the same flight home.
I got you a trip to North Korea. It's like kind of close.
It's lovely this time of year. I don't know if you've ever been.
Yeah. They don't have any games. Don't have to worry about that.
See, that's the
Don't
trick.
lay
You
down
don't
in
say
front of any stat.
Like Pyongyang or another city that they might know is in North Korea, so it sounds exotic.
That's true.
Where's that? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
You'll be fine. So yeah, the whole full PS4 set is going to be quite intense there. That's a lot
Yeah.
of games.
I'm looking forward to it. It's been fun just finding what I have because I try to avoid
Hmm.
shopping online as much as possible. I try like just going out and finding it. I feel like that's the most fun is finding it out in stores and stuff. And it's been
Mhm.
going good. I'm setting at right now, I think around 670 something that I've
Nice.
added. And then I've been going crazy here lately. So I got probably about 40, 50 games just sitting in a box that I haven't tested and added to the collection. Yeah, I want to make sure they work and everything before I add them.
The good thing about the PS4, especially what you just brought up, is it's such a big library that you're going to be able to go out and find stuff that you don't own for so many years. It's not going to get to the point till you have like 2,000 games where you stop finding things.
And that's what I'm enjoying about it. It's just you see stuff you don't see every time you go out almost.
Yeah, it's a really cool system for that.
And it's still going strong. They're still making them. Did you see that what I posted in the chat, Figsy, about NG Dev?
Yeah, I've seen that.
So NG Dev is like a small developer that like releases their own games on their own website directly to people.
Okay.
And so far they've done a couple Switch games and they're very expensive and they sell out really quick. So they just announced that they're doing a sale of used copies. So if anybody wants Raytheon X or Gunlord X, if anyone's looking for those games on the Switch, I think it's March 3rd, I think. I could be wrong. Check out their website, NG Dev. But at this little tiny thing on the bottom, Jason, he actually sent me a thing and highlighted. It says, we will be redoing our first PS4 game soon. And I was like, are you serious? Someone else is starting PS4 games now? God, stop, please. Like, I want no more. I yield. Like, stop.
My wallet can't do it anymore.
Too, because that's like they probably had to open a bunch of games to make sure they work and they want to take photos and show people. And that's probably just those copies. So they're really brand new. They've just been opened by the developers,
Yeah.
You're not going to get like a game that's got sticky soft drink on it or anything.
Get one that like the case is busted in half and
Yeah.
I mean, even used, I'm pretty sure Raytheon was going like over $100. So I don't know. I mean, if they're selling it for the $40 price they sold it for, even at it used, that's a great deal. Like, super good deal. So yeah, they're really cool shmups, by the way. Raytheon is. It's like a side-scrolling horizontal shmup.
Okay.
And then Gunlord is like Turrican. If you guys have ever played Turrican, it's kind of like that. It pretty much is exactly like that. Both are great games. And then they also did Gunvein, which is another shmup that just came out, which I'm obsessed with. It's like literally one of my favorite shmup that came out last year, I think it was. Was it last year? Maybe the year before? I don't know anymore. But yeah, it was amazing. I'm hoping that's their PS4 game, to be honest with you.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But we'll see. But yeah, the PS4 just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, friends. So like I said, just it'll be fun to collect for it forever because you can just keep going forever. It's like insane. It's like 4,000 games.
Well, see, the interesting thing about the PS4 is if you look at current systems right now that low print companies are doing, the older systems, so the 3DS, everyone's trying to do them, but they ran out of carts. They can't do anymore. The Vita, everyone's trying to do them, but they ran out of carts. They can't do that anymore. The PS3, it's too hard to do PS3 software. Like PS4 is just Blu-rays. So these are going to be around forever. Like what's going to stop them getting Blu-ray devices and blue plastic? Nothing. If they've got the money to do it, they can keep printing them, right? The PS4 store isn't going to go down.
With like and with the transition from PS2 to PS3, where they went from Blu-ray to DVD, I feel like it's easier to obtain copies of the PS3 as opposed to other systems on the market. Like with I'm trying to think, what was the system? Like the Vita, it was the cartridges. You can hardly find those systems now. Yeah. Same way with the 3DS and DS, but like I feel like PS3, PS2, and PS4 are so massively produced that I don't think it'll ever hit a point that we'll find like it's hard to find the common games.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And even compared to the 360 and the Wii, the PS3 copies of Blu-rays, so it's rare to find a scratch PS3 game where it can be hard to get a really nice copy of some Wii and 360 games because they're
Absolutely.
all, DVDs.
Yeah, the
What do
Wii
you
I
guys
find it's pretty friendly to buffing machines though, at least. Like I have a
Yeah,
little luck with
definitely.
those.
But not everyone has an expensive machine, or video game shops aren't around anymore. So unless you know someone with one of these machines, the average
Oh, man.
person doesn't want to pick.
That would be a bummer. Yeah, I go to my local store. If that place closed, I'd be screwed. I really would. I'd be mailing you games, Figsy. Like, all right, Mike, I'm mailing you a box of games. Put it through your spinner.
Send it back around.
Yep.
You've been getting them a long time because I got a pile up there and I still haven't got through them yet.
It must be
Well,
nice.
I don't just like to clean them. I like to test them as well and make sure the games work because I'm selling
We
them.
did too.
If it could look fine, but you might have taken like all the layer of data off the disk, so it's best to check that out.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be what I was
literally
concerned
what it does.
about.
It strips data away from the disk. So if you get to the point where it's at the middle of the disk, you're taking away content from it, really.
Yeah, I've only had that happen once. I had one copy of like Zelda on the Wii that like it came out of the spinner and it just didn't work. I was just like, damn. Like that made me sad. That's all
I
good.
had a pile of 30 or 40 games that I couldn't get working. Like I bought a disc cleaner 2 years ago and I bought one, and prior to buying one, I was buying damaged games with the intentions of buying a disc cleaner. So I had all these like games that had been run over by a car or blah, blah, blah. Anyway, after getting...
Oh no.
Everybody's internet's doing great today.
Okay. I panicked for a minute. I thought it was ours, and I was like, no.
No, that's him. That
I'm back.
And we're back.
I don't know where I was up to on the story before the internet come down, but I was saying I had 300 or 400 games to clean, and after I finished it, 30 or 40 of them I just couldn't get working. And I would say at the start I wasn't as good as I am now at cleaning the disc. I've learned like little tricks to do it better and different things like that. However, I just decided to throw this lot up on eBay as all not working, scratch, with the intentions of someone with a disc cleaner would probably buy it. And someone with a disc cleaner did buy it, and he had a $5,000 machine. I had like a $500 machine, and he messaged me after saying he ended up getting most of them working again. So, yeah, it just really depends on the equipment you've got and different things like that. It's cool that you can save games. That's what I love. Having a game that isn't working anymore and you've got it working again. It's so cool. And then you start playing it and it's like, I just saved this.
Oh, it's a great feeling.
I remember as a kid, like everyone was like, yeah, you just take your disc, you get some toothpaste, and you just rub it in the scratches and rinse it off, and it'll work brand new. And I remember like going through the process of like hitting every nook and cranny of this disc, and was so excited when I cleaned it off. I was like, I'm going to fix this game. I popped it in, and it was like, nope. And I was like lied to on the playground again.
But there
We've
is like a method behind that. Like even just using water can sometimes work. Because if it's just like a smudge or something and you don't see it, but it's there and you clean it off and it could get it working again. Like you mentioned you're big into the N64, the famous blow into the N64 thing. You put it back in. Apparently that doesn't actually work. But what happens is you put spit onto the cord, and the spit gets it working again. I don't know. There is a method behind it, but
I say, yeah, Nintendo put out a thing saying that did not work, and I'm like, I beg to differ. Like, you know how many times I'm like, all right, fine, if it doesn't work, still won't work. Do the blow, stick it in, good to go.
I know.
Oh, dude.
Always.
Did you guys have an original NES growing up? You ever play like the old school one? Dude,
My aunt
I had
did.
methods. I had methods to play games. You had to be like, all right, this game, you have to put it in just barely. just
Yeah.
barely, and push it in so it slams in right over the lip. Like you can't push it in all the way; it'll never work. You can only like barely put it in and push it down, and it'll work. And then other ones, it's like you got to push it to the left and stick it in the back corner, and that'll work. It's like I literally remember certain games having to position them and put them in a certain way to get them to work. And then they would still like sometimes it would like trick it, work, and then all of a sudden it would freeze and be like, you have to do it again. Like,
I remember reading somewhere when the NES came to the American market, they changed it because in Japan, when it was coming out as a top loader to prevent having to set and wiggle and try to get it right. And then for some reason, it was like it looked more appealing as a side loader because it looked like a VCR. So they've done that and then like realized like years later that it was actually damaging the cartridges. And that's why you had to like wiggle and hold your mouth just right and do the hokey pokey just to get your games to run.
so I have a theory on that.
With gravity,
I
it
have a
makes sense.
So
You can even relate it to like phone chargers or headphones or like, you know, my phone doesn't charge, but if I put it in like this and no one touch it, it's uncharged.
yeah, dude, you have to like stack the wire like on top of a book. You ever do that? Thing?
Yeah.
You know, you have to do that.
I have to turn my phone upside down just to get it to do anything now.
So I think you made a good point about making it more look like a VCR because if you remember, well, you probably remember, but the video game industry like crashed from Atari, and like the video game, like people didn't want any video games anymore, like at all. Like it was like oversaturated, crappy market. Nobody wanted that stuff in their house, so that's why they didn't call it like the Nintendo video game console. They called it the Nintendo Entertainment System, and they made it look more like a VCR. So like they were like trying to trick people into thinking it's not just a video game console, like it's gonna be more than that. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. It was just a video game console.
If that was Sony, they would have put a VCR in it. Yeah, true, right? That would have been like, we make VCR players. Let's just make games in VCRs now.
Yeah.
I'm shocked we didn't get something like that.
I mean, yeah.
That would have been badass. The giant laser disc video games.
But that would be cool to have today because you don't want to have a big VCR player, but if it played video games and you collect, that would be cool.
Dude, one of the holy grails is the TV with the built-in Nintendo. And does it have a VCR too? I can't remember. But there's like a TV. I think is it Sanyo? I can't remember. There's a TV that has, it's got a Nintendo built into it. And I remember when I was a kid, I went to someone's house who had that damn thing. And I just remember their family didn't work. Like they were on food stamps and stuff like that. And my family did have my dad and mom did work. And I was like so confused. I'm like, how come they have the nice TV with the Nintendo and we don't? I did not understand. I'm like, how do they have this? They don't. You said they don't work. How do they have this, Mom? I don't understand this world. That was like when I first realized the world is just insane. Nothing makes sense. Everything's upside down.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm like, how do they have this? This is like that back then. That thing was so expensive. That TV, like you don't having that. It was absurd. It was like having a freaking I don't know.
Meanwhile, Timmy's mum and dad are on like struggling week to week because they bought this expensive TV on credit that they can't pay for.
Yeah, maybe.
Got food stamps because of it.
That's why they were on food stamps. Was that
Well, that was true. I like that.
It's a massive collector's item now.
Yeah.
Like it's, I can't remember who. Somebody I watched said that they paid like $10,000 just for the TV, and I'm just like, let me keep my NES and my CRT back here that cost me $80. Like,
Be fine with that.
So the thing that makes or breaks the price on that is if it has the remote. The remote is like insanely hard to find, and it's like worth as much as the TV itself. I'm pretty sure.
That's interesting because you can program remotes these days. So I'm sure like you could make a remote for that TV that works.
Of course, but it's not the remote. The remote, the one that goes with it. Yeah,
I'll tell you guys what are quite collectible these days. It's not video game related, but do you remember the old VCR players that had the DVD combos as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are quite collectible these days.
Really?
Especially for people that collect movies. So it's perfect for them.
I had some like a lot of the original Disney VCRs that are like the original unedited versions of the films that are now worth a ridiculous amount of money. And I stopped watching them, but I was still going to keep them because like they were Disney, you know, like I may pop it in one day and watch it. And my mom was like, they're taking up space. So I gave them to your cousin. And now they're worth like $5 or $6 grand. And I'm just like, cool. I could have went to college on that, but no, I had to give it to my not brat cousin.
That sucks. That's
Yeah,
like
man,
growing up, you know, you're lucky if you leave home with a toy collection or a video game collection or anything. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for everything that I've still got from when I was a kid, because it's like a lot of stuff, you know, your parents get rid of. And it makes sense, you know, they're old toys or they're old things you don't use anymore, and they sell them to buy the new ones and things like that.
Oh, that's why I'm still happy about those PlayStation magazines, like surviving. That was like a shock that like those still existed. I'm like, I can't believe you guys never threw these away. They're like, just in a box.
It would have been like we just forgot they were there, you know.
That's literally all it was. It was just like one day they cleaned up the house and they were like, what the hell are these damn things?
Yeah.
But it was so nice of them to call me and be like, do you want these? And
They're going in the bin tomorrow.
they're like, that guy Joe's pretty mentally ill when it comes to video games. He probably wants this. I should check with him. You know
My
what I mean?
buddy, that's how he started his complete in box collection for the 64. Is that his dad held on to all the original boxes when they bought them at the store.
Mhm.
He said that his dad started doing that after he ripped the Diddy Kong Racing box, and then he said his dad started storing them after that. And then he told me, I think a couple weeks ago, he told me that he bought the box and it was like $300. He goes, I will forever be kicking 5-year-old me for doing that.
The pain in his dad's eyes seeing him rip that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, I'm never giving him one of these again. He can have the thing on the inside, and that's it.
I think we all.
It takes the card out and grabs it.
That's
That's
what
what
he
the
would
box.
I remember like that when I was a kid. I watched this cartoon called The Inhumanoids, and it was just on. It was on for like one season, and I just remember I had the toys growing up, and I loved them. And of course, like one day I was like, oh, you know what? I want to get some of my old toys. I would like to pick up some Inhumanoids, and they're all $350, $400. I'm like, what the? Damn, man. And like I have some, but they're like broken. So that's the same thing that like I was like, oh, this guy just needs an arm or head, you know, and nah, man, it's just out of control. But yeah,
They
I think
all
we all
have
have
body
things.
parts except for the expensive ones.
My dad was really big into MacGyver as a kid, and he had one of the MacGyver action figures that now go for ridiculous amounts of money. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I had that action figure and I blew it up with a firecracker.
Exactly.
But that's why they go for a lot of money, because I'm sure like half of them got blown up with firecrackers.
It's not his fault MacGyver didn't figure out how to get out of there in time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he said he was blowing up. He's like, Murdoch got him.
Reminds me of modern videos that you see of people who aren't video game collectors, but they're into like video games, and they'll pick up the new game day one, but it might be like the collector's edition, and you see them get it and they rip it open. Oh, what are you doing? You should not be the one who owns this.
Yeah, I've gotten a
Like,
letter
smash
up
the
there
case
open
on the
my
ground
collection.
or something.
Yep.
I wanted to ask what you guys have been playing recently.
Oh,
I just hopped on the rabbit hole of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just got through chapter 1 today. I bought the collectors for it and just got the chance to play it today. And oh my god, I'm loving it.
No spoilers.
So good.
The
No,
deluxe
no.
or the collectors. You get the collector's edition, the big thing.
Well, not on a lot of things. That one, that was like a big. Me and my mom got really big in part 1 of the remake, and so this one, I was like, she wanted the statue displayed in her mantle in the living room, so I was like, we have to do it.
Okay.
It's Final Fantasy. I can understand that.
But I mean, we are having an absolute blast so far, and we've only made it to chapter 2. We just got to chapter 2 before I came over here to do this.
Are you guys playing together?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend are playing right now, and then I'm going to do my hard playthrough with my mom because she told me if I didn't play the game with her, she'd kill me. So we got to do it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited.
No, that's a cool experience playing with someone else too. Usually, like I used to have a mate who wasn't into video games, but he'd like sit there and watch the cutscenes and watch me play and different things like that.
Oh, she gets into it. She gets all excited. I love it. We played through Final Fantasy 16 together, and she went crazy on it.
Nice one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just finished 16 a couple days ago, like desperately trying to finish it before Rebirth came out, and I did, and I loved it. And I'm like 90% through chapter 2 on Rebirth right now. It's so good, dude.
Oh, I'm having a blast.
I like it better than 16 for sure.
Yeah. There's an Ifrit statue from 16 on Square Enix's store website. She's been trying to get my stepdad to bat for her, so she's been talking to him and everything. It's like a $300 statue, and she wants it on the mantle. She loves it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, on Final Fantasy, have you guys got the Pixel Remaster collection for PS4?
I shot myself in the foot. I had it in my cart, and I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it later. I was at work at the time it came up and everything. I didn't realize it was a limited release. So you know what? I'll just buy it later. And when I went back to buy it, it was completely sold out. But yeah, it was in the cart ready to go. And I second guessed myself, and I hate myself for it. I hate myself.
As you should.
I'm one of those believers that it's Square Enix and they reprint everything. So we just have to be patient because it's going to be in their store one day and it'll be in their store forever. So I'm just waiting.
Yeah, no, they will.
Hurry up, Square. You can still buy Final Fantasy VII for PS1 brand new. That's pretty crazy, right? Like,
wow, to think about that.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can buy all the original PS1 games brand new from their website. Like, they reprint everything.
I wonder if when the new Switch or the new Nintendo console comes out, they'll do a print of that for the new Nintendo console and the PS5, because they haven't done a PS5 version at all for the Pixel Remastered collection. Maybe they'll do like a print of that at least for people.
That would be
awesome. In theory, it would drive the price down slightly because I would buy it and not care about the PS4 version. I'm sure a lot of people would, and that takes away demand from the price of the PS4 copy.
I'm totally fine with my PlayAsia Switch copy. Totally cool with that. So, you can get like 1 through 12 on the Switch now. You can get like every single Final Fantasy game now with this Pixel Remaster. You can get 7 and 8 in a combo, 9 on its own. And like
not 11 because it was online.
Well, not the online ones. I don't count those, whatever. But yeah, all the main releases. But yeah, you can get everything up to 13 on the Switch. So. I'm cool with having it on the Switch because you can't. I don't think the original 7 has a physical release on PS4, does it? I don't think it does. 8 does. 8 has they did like a standalone.
Not the original
8, but not 7, which is weird. Very weird to me. Like why? Why? I mean, you can get every other one pretty much. So
I think maybe it was a whole. We're doing the remaster, so we don't need to put it out there, or I don't know the reasoning behind it. It's literally the second best-selling game on PS1. It sold over 10 million copies. Like, sure, it's a no-brainer that everyone who bought it wants to play it on modern systems with trophies, etc., and we'll just make $30 million for nothing because we've already owned the properties to the game, and you know.
It would take nothing to do it, and they'd make tons of money doing it.
They should port Tactics too. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And Chrono Trigger, and there's a lot of things that, like I guess last week was saying, if Square Enix ever had financial troubles, there's things that they can do to bail themselves out. So maybe they're not doing it for a reason, and we're going to see it later down the line.
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Imagine just like, oh, by the way, guys, the next couple of weeks we're dropping Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Cross, and they're all going to be on modern systems of trophies and HD, and enjoy.
I would lose my mind. I would go crazy.
They're like 40 million copies in a week.
Yeah, it probably would. Undoubtedly.
Share prices would go through the roof, and yeah, I'm sure that it's on one of their whiteboards. Like, we can make money doing this.
It's just insane they haven't yet.
Yeah.
I'd love an HD remake of Brave Fencer Musashi as well.
That would be really cool.
That's like my favorite Square games or whatever. That was the game that like got me back into collecting. That was like the first game I had like the really bad nostalgic itch for to like get again and play. It was like I was just sitting there one day like, dude, I gotta play Brave Friends of Musashi again. Like I just have to. I don't know. It was like a compulsion or something. Like I can't, you know what I mean? Like it was just like I was just like, oh man, I remember having so much fun playing that game. I gotta have it. I just gotta have it again. And like that's what like spurred me getting my childhood games back. That was like the first one I got. And then it spiraled out of control until like this this entire collection just went out of control. So I don't know. I've always had like a special place for that game, and I would love a remaster of that game.
What's Figsy though?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just grabbing something. He'll be right back.
Okay.
Does this all the time. No worries. So like what do you guys been like playing like or collecting like recently? Like anything special? Like you guys
So I recently been playing I played picked up Helldivers 2. I've been playing that. That's been a lot of fun. Probably the most fun I've had in a multiplayer game in a long time. Playing that with friends, and it's really fun. And then before he came over to record the podcast, y'all are going to shoot me for this one, but I have not beat part 1 of The Last of Us. Like, still never played it or beat it. So I was playing some of that before he came over, and I'm on the tail end of the story.
I cannot give anyone shit for that sort of thing because like I'm like a hipster gamer. I play like all indie shit and weird crap, and like I haven't played Last of Us. I haven't played like the new God of War games. I haven't played a single Uncharted game. I have quite a few games that like people are like, huh, what? Like I played like half of one Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I haven't played the original. I would like to though, because I feel like the original, like even for the time, was so groundbreaking.
Yeah, I loved it. I played like I said, I played like halfway through the first game, and I've always meant to go play through the whole series, but it's just, dude, Final Fantasy 7 just came out. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do?
I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy games before. And we were actually discussing on our episode just today that I was talking about 7 because I was going to start playing the 7 remake because I never played the original 7. And I was like, well, like, what's the point when I can play the remake? And he's like, no, there's some changes. He's like, if I had to describe it, like 7 for the PS1's like a book, and then the PS4 remake's like the movie. So you definitely want to play both of them because it gives you a different experience. So I will eventually cave and play Final Fantasy 7. I haven't got there because the internet has already told us like what happens. So like I'm afraid to get into it and just not enjoy it because I already know what's coming.
See, I think today it's almost better to play the newer one because nostalgic is such a big thing that everyone who played it back in the day had such a better time because at the time it was the best graphic game out there, the best story, the best of everything. But you're going back and you're looking at this like pixelated game that, you know, looks like it's 30 years old. And I mean, as amazing as it is, you're going to be judging it to everything that you've played after it. So, you know, playing the new one first and then understanding the story and realizing how much of an amazing game it is, going back, you'll probably have the better experience.
And the controls alone, completely 2 different styles of controls.
Yeah.
Getting back to that, used to that old PS1 style.
Yeah, I played the demo, and I know the PS1 version's turn-based, at least that from what I understood. And then I played the demo for 7 when it came out, and it plays a little bit like Kingdom Hearts. So I was pretty okay with that because I did enjoy Kingdom Hearts.
I think you would like it.
Yeah.
So Kingdom Hearts is another one that like you can go back and play it on PS2 or you can play it on PS3 or on PS4 or on PS5. It's so accessible. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's something I really wish studios would do stuff like that. Like just make your games accessible as possible. Like, you know, my favorite games even now were the PS2 platformers, you know, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper. And they put Jak and Daxter on the PS4 store, but it's like a poorly emulated version of it. and I would love for those titles to once again get some love. They did hint at them and Rift Apart, like with the Rhino. You could drop them in, they would just like stand there for a second. So it was really cool to see them. But like I would love to see, because like I think Sly Cooper will be great if it was done from the ground up with the like cel shaded graphics.
Well, they ported the PS3 version over, which was amazing.
Yeah,
What you just brought up, Jacob, is a good point. Like there's plenty of remasters out there that go two ways. They're amazing and they've done the game justice and they're better than the originals, like Spyro Trilogy, for example. Playing that again with trophies in HD, like I loved it as a kid. It was just as good as an adult replaying it. Same as Crash Bandicoot. Like
yes,
playing it again as an adult, I'm like, this is taking me back to my childhood here. Boogada, boogada. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And then like Tony Hawk, that was absolutely amazing. Happy to give them full price day one if you're going to give me that nostalgia, but also make it feel like a new game. But then there's companies out there like Rockstar that just slapped the Grand Theft Auto trilogy together. It didn't have the soundtrack. It ran like shit. It's better to go and play the PC version that's been out for 20 years. Like, but the problem is people buy it day one because these games sell because they have the audience. So, you know, it makes a real problem in the industry that they're still making money giving out a shit version of the game. Like, you know, I love people that boycott that, but we're never going to see a Rockstar boycott.
No. I mean, they're too big. And like, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, I think was fantastic. And I would love to see Red Dead Redemption 1 redone in the Red Dead 2 engine. But I know Rockstar, and they're just going to do what they've done. Well, they have already done it. They just slapped it with a PS4 label on it and was like, there you go.
Enjoy.
Yeah, there you go. It's kind of not as good as the PS3 version, but you've got it.
Yeah. And I hate that they do that because they have the resources to do so, but they just refuse to do so.
They spent $2 billion on GTA 5.
Oh, yeah, they've
got the money to buy a team and say, hey, guys, we want you to make a new version of this game. Here's the game. All you got to do is make a HD version of it. That's not going to cost $1 billion. You know, it's going to cost fractions. The advertisement's going to cost more than what's going to cost the team to do that.
Absolutely. Something I hate to, I'm not trying to take over your interview here, but we were discussing something with our podcast in our first episode is a lot of companies are starting to do some layoffs with their physical departments. How are you guys feeling about that?
Especially in the last week or so, like we've noticed Activision has just laid people off, and Insomniac have just laid people off, and Xbox awfully just laid a lot of people off. And I know Sony came out and announced that they've laid a lot of people off. And you know what really, really scares me is all these layoffs are because these companies realize they can just use AI to do the work of hundreds of people. And we're going to get AI in video games soon, and it's going to suck. But once it's there, it's not going anywhere because it's not going to be bad enough that it will be terrible. People will still buy these things and play them and still have experiences, but you're not getting authentic someone's idea that they're thought of, and like that's just not going to be around anymore because it's too expensive, and that's sad. I know it's the future of all media, but it's sad, and we're seeing it.
Oh, it's going to suck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's I mean, gosh, it's a complicated topic, and I think it could be dealt to a lot of factors, but I just think that the price of games to make them has gone up insanely over the last 10 years, and they're still selling games to the same price they were selling games in the 90s, pretty much. And that can't work. That's just not going to work. Think about everything else in this world. Like, I was paying $50, $60, $70 for games back in the 90s on Genesis and Super Nintendo. That was really a thing. And now the games are still $50, $60, $70. And I'm someone who, like, I don't even want to spend that much. I'm so cheap and patient. Like, I rarely spend that much. So I wait until the games are on sale for like $30, $20. And the budgets of the games are out of control. You're talking like $200 million, $300 million, some of these games. Like, it's just, it's completely wild. So, like, it's a completely unsustainable business model. Like it can't keep going like that. Like you have to sell. Like your game has to be not only popular, it has to be just like a complete slam dunk monstrous hit to make money. And like it's the same thing the film industry is happening. You'll hear about these movies and these games that come out, and it's like the game sold $150 million, $200 million. It sounds great, but then you realize it costs them even more than that to make it. So it's like they still didn't even make money, even though it was shit that should have been successful. Like a game that made $250 million 10 years ago probably did well. You know what I mean? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like it's not working out. So like Figsy said, they're going to have to cut costs, and they have to cut budgets, and they're going to use AI to do that. And they're going to cut staff to do that. And they're going to downsize. And honestly, like maybe we don't need games that are this big. Maybe we don't need these giant open world experiences that have 300 hours of content. Maybe that's just not the way things should go. Maybe companies should work on a smaller, tighter experience in 30 hours and sell it for cheaper and sell more copies and try to make money that way. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think
you just brought up
Absolutely.
made me think of something crazy. How many? Let's obviously DLC is around and you can buy stuff online. Let's just assume that's not around. Just GTA 6 on terms of like how many copies they would need to sell to break even. It's a $2 billion game. Like, I know they're going to make their money from online, and that's why they're doing it. But like, it's absolutely crazy. I'm just going to do the figures real quick.
$2 billion. Say it's about $2 billion making it. $2 billion
Right.
with a B. With a B.
Yep.
That's like the gross domestic product for some countries.
Yeah, like they would need to sell like 30 million copies to break even if they got $60 for every copy, which they don't get. It's absolutely.
They're absolutely going to get it. It's which I'm not trying to like downplay the game. Like, it is a fun game to play, and I did enjoy it. I've played the story, but I don't understand how it's sold so many copies, or why it's so big.
Well, I like to think of it like GTA isn't a video game anymore. It is what people associate video games with. So if you asked a normal person, a regular person who isn't into video games, tell me about the video game systems, and they'll be like, oh, you've got Xbox, Sony, Grand Theft Auto. It's that big. Like, it's sold more copies than the PS4 or the Xbox One, or like, that's how big of a game it is, where no game in history has ever even come close to this. So it's sort of like we're seeing it for the first time, because it's bigger than any system. It's bigger than anything, really. It's bigger than any movie, any CD that's ever been out. It's absolutely insane what it's done for media.
Oh, yeah. And then back to what Joe said earlier, these game companies making these 300-hour games. I mean, nowadays, who has time for that? If you're an adult, 16 or older, have a job, you can't put 300 hours into a game like you could when you were living at home with your parents. School was the only responsibility you had. So I have to agree, cutting down on that and making 50-hour games, 60-hour games might be the way to go with it, and just make it a tighter experience than just this whole open world.
I can attest to that as a college student and working part-time and doing this and stand up on the side. Yeah, it's definitely hard to sit down and play these games that are like 60, 70 hours, and then my brother who only has school is like, yeah, man, I already beat it. And I'm like, I hate you.
Especially like Ubisoft titles where, 150 hours of that 200-hour game is just getting collectibles and doing the same thing in a different location that's, been copied and pasted all over the map. And, the story isn't that good, and you slap through that really quickly. And it's, if you've played one Ubisoft game, it feels like the last one. Like, I loved Far Cry back in the day, and Far Cry 3 was one of my favorite games. And I remember buying Far Cry 6 day one, and like, it was cooler than Far Cry 3, but I already played this. I already have played games exactly the same as this. This isn't new anymore, and I don't want to climb this tower that I've climbed a million times. It takes 10 minutes. And if I fall once wrong, I got to start again. And like, this isn't new anymore, and then it's just overdone in the video game industry. And I guess it's no fault of their own. They're still making a good game, but because I've been around for so long and played so many of these new games, you just feel like they're all the same.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about that new quadruple A title that Ubisoft just dropped?
Now, what was it, sir?
Skull and Bones. Instead of calling it AAA, they called it Quad A or 4A.
The Skull and Bones, the
Mm-hmm.
game that was like in release cycle for like 10 years, and
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. I played the beta, and like for a game that was in development for 10 years, I was expecting so much more.
it was
Yeah,
always
I heard
gonna-
it. I heard it was like riddled with microtransactions.
I saw that. I didn't really look at it, but like, I mean, it was $70, and literally it was just a boat combat game. It was not like you're a pirate, and for me, like sword play is also a big part of that. And there's no sword play. It's just you on a boat, and you're shooting, you're doing missions, and you're just sinking boats, or collecting resources, and that was it.
Well, you've also got that other big open world MMO boat. I can't even think of the name of it.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
Sea of
see,
Thieves, exactly.
I heard that one's actually
Sea of Thieves
decent.
came out,
That
and
one was
it's amazing. And I think that would have affected Skull and Bones because, like,
Yeah.
prior to that coming out, they were going to be the first one doing that kind of genre. That I mean, I know Assassin's Creed touched on it a bit, but it's an entire game just around that. So, yeah, that's why you don't release a game for 10 years.
Yeah. No, I expected that game to get canceled twice, and I was like, they're still powering through. Okay.
Yeah. Now
Speaking of
think
that,
about working
so
on a
you
game for
give open world games. That's a good question.
it is so. I am. I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends. Not. I mean, yes and no. Like, it depends on how good it is. Like, I'm enjoying the Final Fantasy world quite a bit because it's a rich,
Yeah.
vibrant world full of lots of cool stuff, and they
Yeah.
put a lot of interesting, different things in it. It's not just like, oh, look, a pack of monsters. Oh, a pack of monsters. Oh, a pack of monsters. It's like, here's a mini game. Here's this special fight challenge. Here's this special thing, research device. Here's this special quest. It's like all different, intriguing things that make me want to explore and have fun.
It feels like it's
Um,
full of stuff you can find. It's not just
Yeah.
an empty world.
And it's not straight up just fetch quests, which is really boring. A lot of places, a lot of companies just go, well, here's your quest. Talk to Bill.
Yeah.
Bill says, talk to Fred. Fred says, go back to Bill. Bill, give Bill the thing. Bill gives you some money. Like, it's not exciting. It's not like a story. It's just a
Yeah.
fetch it quest. It's not like, I don't know. Like, I want. It should, like, the quest should be engaging some way in a story. Even if it's a small story, it's a short story, it's a little story. You know what I mean? Like, make it like kind of interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my problem with WoW. I had some friends that were really deeply invested in it, and they were like, yeah, you should create a new character and play with us. And I was like, okay, cool. And I spent 2 hours doing Fetch It Quest. And I exited the game and uninstalled it immediately after because I was just like, I'm not doing this. This is the most boring game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, you got to put in 300 hours to get satisfaction out of it. And
Yeah.
because you're playing with overpowered people, if you hang out with them, there's no fun for you because they just kill everything. And
Exactly. I'm just
I've
standing
played
there like,
with people
cool.
hype out in WoW, tried to like get into it, and I just couldn't. And I put in like 20 hours. Sorry, guys, I don't want to put in 200 hours to have fun.
No.
Going back to what you said, Joe, on Bill and Ted, I tell the games that I dislike these days are like that. The ones that will put, okay, here's Ted on the map, and here's a marker how to get to him. I really loved Elden Ring and how Elden Ring done its open world. And here's the world. I'm not going to tell you anything. Work it all out yourself. And then, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild were very similar. Like, here's the open world. Work it all out yourselves. Everything you see, you can go to, but you got to do it yourself. And you got to work out how to get there. And that was fun, exploring without having someone tell you where it is. And it was a cool experience. It felt like the old days where, you're playing a game without the internet anymore. But I feel games today are too dumbed down for like, go to A, go to B. It's an open world, but really it's a linear game because you're just following the missions around. And,
yeah,
like
Tears of the Kingdom, I ended up having to pick up the guide on because I was like, there's so much, and like I have I do agree with you. I like the aspect of Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, but like I also like games like Skyrim that tell you where to go because I get distracted so easily. like I'll spend like 3 or 4 hours in Tears of the Kingdom just doing the Korok seeds just because I think they're fun. and they'll be like, I have done nothing to save Zelda, who is supposedly like dying and fighting Ganon in the castle.
Now, see, I think that's the best part, man. Like, I put 150 hours into that game, and I beat the 4 major bosses, but I didn't do the last one because I didn't look up in a guide where it is, and I still haven't unlocked it yet. But I have finished every single recipe and like unlocked every shrine and done all that stuff because I just got sidetracked.
Yeah, no, and the gameplay is fun, and like for that, I think that's why it's considered one of the best Zelda games of all time. Is just because when those games were developed, Miyamoto even said that he wanted people to feel like they could explore. And so when they done Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it was just like complete. Like you can go where you want, you can do what you want, and it's just I agree with you. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed Elden Ring because of that too. Is because they had the Tree Sentinel, and like he was very difficult for early on, but I think he was there as an example of you don't have to fight him right now. You can move forward and try to fight something else.
Yeah, actually, that was a perfect start to the game. And
Yes.
I know people, and you're going to know people as well, who sat there and fought this boss 50 times until they beat it because that's how they play video games. And they had no idea that you could just walk around it and come back. And perfect game design, they put this here. So most people give up and go somewhere and realize that that's not what they meant to do. But look, I know people who sat there and grinded through it. And Jonathan,
I know someone really well, Pixie, really well that done that. Hasn't completed the game because of it.
Look, after the 25th time, I gotta put it down. I can't do this no more. My pride.
Well, like it gets better. Like after that boss, there's a swamp and there's a dragon in there. And the dragon's meant for like level 50. So you can, let's assume you beat the Tree Sentinel. The next boss you'll fight, you're not meant to face until you're halfway through the game. And you'll be like, this is the hardest game I've ever played.
Oh,
My
man.
favorite thing that was like a meme after that game came out was like, this is a role-playing game. What role do I play? The victim?
Oh my god! Like John, you're gonna hate me. I played that game for 10 hours before I died because like I'm a Dark Souls veteran, so I just running around doing things, leveling up, and it wasn't until I got like stuck on one of the bosses that I like died for the first time. I'm like, oh okay. But like the way I play Dark Souls games is the boss is the last thing I do. I want to explore the whole level before I fight the boss.
Yeah, I'm going through
What
the
I
second
like-
playthrough right now. Of fighting
I'm
all
just
the
about
bosses.
to
Sorry, I
start
didn't mean to cut you off there, Joe.
That's all good. That game is like the perfect example of what I mean by like the quests are engaging and like they're
Yeah.
like cool stories. It's not just a marker on a map. It's like some lady who's like, my daughter ate poison and died, and I need to bury her corpse. But this asshole stole her necklace and he killed her little brother. And go fuck him up. He's a piece of crap. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? Screw this guy. I am gonna go. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it gets you like a little
Yeah.
invested.
You
And,
get
like, it's like-
motivation to do so.
And it's
But then
and I like-
in it, she won't tell you where it is, and you won't find that guy for 20 hours. But
correct.
when you do, you'll fight this tough guy, and you'll be like, "Oh, this arsehole was tough." And then you'll pick up a necklace, and you'll be like, "Oh, that was the lady." And then you backtrack through the game to find her, and she gives you like a key to this door that's been locked, and you're like, "Oh, it's all coming together now."
Yep. It's
Yeah,
so
Demon
cool.
Souls done that too.
Yeah, it's so good, man. So good. I grinded through Demon Souls back in like 2014 on PS3, and I had actually. This is where I had the same experience to you, John. I spent 20 hours on the first level of Demon Souls because I did not know what to do, and I sucked. And I just kept dying and kept trying again and kept trying again. I didn't realize that you could run past all the enemies, and I actually gave up on the game. I never beat the first level, and I then played Dark Souls 3 and finished the game and went back and played Dark Souls 1 and finished it and played Bloodborne and finished it and finished Dark Souls 2 and went back to Demon Souls. And I didn't even die on that first level. I went through it without dying and realized how easy this was. And it was just the way I was approaching it was the wrong way. And I was approaching it like I play Ratchet and Clank. You kill everything because you're the main thing. But no, that's not how you approach a Dark Souls game. You take on fights if you can win, and you be strategic. And yeah, it's a good way of looking at games differently. And I do this for a lot of games now. Like, I go in and, am I playing it wrong? Are you meant to play it a different way, and different things like that?
Yeah, see, I played Bloodborne. I got about, I would say, halfway through Bloodborne and was loving it. And then every time I pick up Dark Souls or Elden Ring, it's just like, hey, we hate you. We're going to kill you 20 more times and rub it in your face.
Yeah, I could kind of understand that, because the way Bloodborne designed is it wants you to have a really aggressive play style, where Dark Souls is kind of the opposite. So if you're a great Bloodborne player, you can play Dark Souls, but the average Dark Souls player is like shield up, sword, dodging most of the time, where Bloodborne, you're constantly in there attacking and parrying and getting in there and fighting. So it does make sense.
I never made use of the parry system in Dark Souls 3. That was the first one I played too, and was like, oh, okay, I really like this. And my buddy set me up on it. He called it a bonk build, where you just put strength or points into strength, endurance, and vigor, and you have a big weapon. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll do the same thing in Bloodborne. And that is, you cannot do that. not early on, when they have that big, giant, like, cult thing going on. Like, I remember I walked through, I was like, oh, I can get these guys. And then, like, you turn around, there's 12 of them. It's like, oh, I'm just going to do this.
Really, you like lure them out one at a time. And Jake, I wanted to ask if you've ever played Sekiro.
Sekiro, no, actually, that is the only From Software game I think I haven't played yet. I want to, but it's actually here recently been, at least in our area, semi-rare, like hard to get your hands on. So I'm waiting until I can find a copy for my PlayStation, or shoot, at this point I'll take Xbox, and just so I can play through it.
So I think you're going to struggle with Sekiro, because I was exactly the same as you. I didn't parry, and I carried myself through all these games without parrying. But in Sekiro, you have to parry, because the way to beat the bosses is you have to get their parry meter down, and you can only hurt them when you've successfully like blocked 30 or 40 attacks, and it's hit their stagger, and that's when you can do attacks. And it was, for me, it was the hardest game I ever played, because that's not how I played these games.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's what I like about it with those types of games, which I haven't played Sekiro yet, but you can do different builds that can accommodate your play style or go kind of against it. So I think that's what is the draw to a lot of the Dark Souls games.
And it just have so much replayability. Like,
absolutely.
I went through and did a Soul Level 1 Dark Souls 3 run, and like, it was hard, but my first playthrough of Dark Souls was harder than my level 1 playthrough, because it felt so good to beat the boss of the game when you're level 1. It's just like a cool thing to be like, oh, I did that, and it's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, my buddy, we were at a party, and he was like, go fight the first boss of Dark Souls 3, and I never played one, and I died so quickly. And he said, now watch this. He would do the Wretched with the club, and then like kill the first boss within the first like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like,
parries it and does the perfect attack. So I'm like, it's really like the easiest boss in the game if you know what to do, but if you don't know how to parry, then you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, exactly. And he made quick work of it. He was like, all right. He's like, y'all, every single one of y'all will be a beer. I'm like, all right. He knew what he was doing.
Hey guys, we like to have a video game quiz on this podcast. So it's time to play the Figsies quiz. You guys ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Before we get into the quiz, as always, we have a question for chat. So chat, this one's tough. I got given a question last night and I couldn't name it. So good luck. Here is your question for the week. And this one was done by Andy. So we need you guys to name the full video game title. This isn't for you and Jacob. This isn't for you and
Yeah,
John.
it's
This
just
is
the chat. Yeah.
While you guys are thinking about that one, let's get into the quiz. So, you guys might have seen the title of the show this week is what are the highest grossing movies based on a video game? And you might have noticed that we haven't talked about that at all. Because the topic of today's quiz is going to be the 10 highest grossing video game film adaptations of all time. So you guys have to name each of these movies. I'll take either the movie or the franchise. Yeah, I'll take the franchise. That's fair. You're going to have 3 strikes each. How's it going to work? Yeah, so you're all going to be on your own team. So you guys are going to be competing against each other too.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I got 3 J's on the paper. Usually I just put an initial down. I had to write your full names out. So the order is going to be John, followed by Jacob, followed by Joe. So you can have 3 strikes. We're looking for the 10 highest grossing video game film adaptations of all time. So John, you want to start?
Okay. Let's say Uncharted.
Uncharted is number 5. John takes the first point. Jacob, you're up.
The Illumination Super Mario Brothers movie, the one that came out last year.
The Super Mario Brothers movie is number 1. Joe?
The Resident Evil franchise.
Resident Evil, the final chapter, is number 10. And John?
I'm going to say the Ratchet and Clank movie.
Not on the list. John, you take the first strike. Jacob?
Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, Mortal Kombat. Also not on the list. Jacob's got a strike.
I'm surprised.
Joe?
Does the Wizard count? Does it have to be like it's like a video game franchise? It's like it actually has to be a game, right? It's not just like a video game themed movie.
Yeah, they're all games.
They're all actual games. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Why is this so hard?
Round 1 was easy.
I know. I feel like Street Fighter the movie is going to be on there, but it shouldn't be. So I'll say Street Fighter the movie.
Street Fighter the movie isn't on there.
Okay.
Joe has a strike. John?
Oh God. Based on a movie.
Oh, I got one.
Oh man, that's tough.
So name number 1, Super Mario Bros. Number 5, Uncharted. Number 10 was Resident Evil.
Is it just movies or is it like TV shows as well?
Just
Wow.
movies.
Just movies? Okay. No, it's not. There's not a game of it. Never mind. Tomb Raider had a movie, didn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tomb
Mhm.
Raider.
Good answer. Tomb Raider isn't on there.
Dang, that was what I was going to say.
For you, John.
That was literally what I was going to say next. Fuck. It's hard.
All right, Jacob.
I want to throw this out there. It's probably not on there, but we're going to take a shot in the dark. Is any of the Pokemon films on there?
It's a good guess.
I'm going to give you a point for Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
As I said, franchises. I don't need the name of the film, just the franchise. Joe, you're up.
I'll say Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
good
Comes
one.
at number 6.
Number 6.
John, you're up.
I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed.
Not on there. John, that was your last strike. At this point, you were out, but see what happens.
I'll take that.
Hit the ejector seat, boing. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
All right,
So
Jacob,
my-
you're up.
So I have a question. He said Sonic does that count the sequel as well? Sonic the
So
Hedgehog?
there's one of each franchise on for each
Okay.
number.
Just one from each franchise. Okay. Oof.
Oh. No, I'm giving you a point. Sonic's on there twice, and it's the only one. I'm giving you a point. Sorry.
Okay.
Jacob, you get a point. I didn't
Actually,
realize
it's
that was
two.
on there twice, so the whole franchise thing went out the window, but it's all good. It's the only one.
Fair.
So Sonic the Hedgehog was number 9, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was number 6.
Okay.
Missing
Man.
the 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 8th highest grossing video game film of all time.
Double Dragon. That movie's so good.
Double Dragon is not on there, Joe.
It better not be on there. Have you ever seen that turd? Have you ever seen that movie? It's
All
like,
right, Jacob,
dude.
you're up.
Oh, I'm going to say, is there any of the Final Fantasy films on there?
Oh, good answer. Final Fantasy isn't on there. Jacob's
Ah.
got his second strike. All right, Joe. You're on 2 strikes. I need a name of a video game film, otherwise Jacob wins. No pressure.
Man. What movies came out? Games. I think of so many movies they made games for, but not the other way around, you know?
Yeah.
God, there's got to be one that's like so obvious.
Yep.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
I just thought of it.
there's probably
You
quite
weren't
a
supposed to
few.
give hints.
I'm kind of mad at myself.
Mm,
Yeah, phone a friend.
this is killing me. Castlevania's had shows, not movies, right? Shit. Not the Contras.
Excellent show, though.
It is a good one. It is a good one.
Where do you go first, Joe?
Dude. I don't know, man. I got nothing, bro. Can I pass? Shit.
I'm giving you a strike, and with that means today's winner goes to Jacob. Well done, Jacob.
Was Tekken on there? Tekken movie wasn't on there, right?
Second wasn't on there, so I'm going to go through the ones we missed. So we
Hmm.
had Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
I forgot
Yes.
all about that.
That was number 8.
I didn't forget about that. I just assumed that they had no money.
I didn't think it did either.
The
I
original
don't
Super
have
Mario
screenshots
Brothers movie,
of this
maybe.
one, but number 7 was the Angry Birds movie. Which
Oh,
number 4 was Rampage.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I've never actually seen that. Is that any good?
And then number 3 was Gettable. It was Warcraft.
Oh, that's true.
I'm just happy I got one right.
So I have to admit that I actually that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I actually like the Warcraft film. I have that on 4K. I like that movie. It's not good, but I like it.
And I'm just going to pull chat's question up again. No one has got it correct yet. So chat, here is your question once again. It's definitely on the harder scale, that's for sure.
I'm gonna scoot you in. I'm not going to say it, but I want to see what they're working with.
So if no one gets it, you guys can jump in, chat on the next show and answer. We'll keep the question until someone gets it right. You guys got any pickups to show off this week?
Yeah, I got some.
Yeah.
I'll let you get first, Jacob.
Oh, aren't you just a sweetheart? So I recently just picked up The Godfather for the PS2. I've not seen the movie. I know it's a classic. I'm a little behind on that, but everyone has talked to me. I've talked to. It says give this a shot because I really like the Mafia series. So I figured I'd pick it up.
I loved Mafia, and I loved it that much that I went out and bought The Godfather and The Godfather 2 and played it right after. And it's not as good as the Mafia games.
No!
Like, they're good games, but if you're comparing them to Mafia, they're not that good. So you got to go in with a different frame of mind that it's just a good Mafia game. It's not Mafia 2 or Mafia 1 or Mafia 3. So,
Gotcha.
And it gets a little bit repetitive, like in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where you've got all like the gang wars at the end of the game, you got to keep taking over territories and things like that.
Yeah, Saints Row 2 had it too.
Mafia 2, Godfather 2 has a lot of like that elements. Like you need to take over this territory and you've just lost this one, and it feels like you're just doing. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not Mafia 2.
Gotcha.
Okay. My pickup, I got Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Nice.
I'm absolutely loving this game. I love the whole just how you get your teammates through crewmate cards. So it's not everybody's getting the same teammates at the same time. You can kind of pick and choose who you want, and I just love that feature. Plus, it gives me a lot of Monster Hunter 5. So like you go to your story quest, and then there's a quest counter, and you can just kind of pick and choose what you want to do with that. And I'm really enjoying that one.
Yeah, that game looks absolutely incredible. I would maybe pick it up as well. I would have if I had time to play it. I've just been busy playing other stuff. Otherwise, I would have bought it. But I just was like, I can't play it right now anyway, so I'll just wait till hopefully it's cheaper.
Yeah. I picked up The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Nice. That's good.
Everyone talked about that. I've not played it yet, so I saw it and there was a good price on it. So I said, well, I might as well pick that up.
Oh man, it's like I hope you love it just as much because it's a nostalgic thing for a lot of people these days. But it's
I played a handful of missions, and I've never seen a video game, especially for a cartoon. Maybe with exception of South Park, I love those. But it really done a good job of like getting the whole feel of the show and putting it into a video game. Sometimes that doesn't flow so smoothly, but the developers on that done such a good job.
Yeah, I'm hoping that gets the remaster treatment. Like, why are you giving us The Last of Us 2 when The Simpsons Hit and Run hasn't got a remaster?
Yeah,
exactly.
I picked up a PS3 game. I got Quantum Theory. Huge fan of the Gears of War series, and this is pretty much to me a clone of it. I mean, it plays and feels just like the Gears game, and I'm loving it so far.
I picked up this is no one on the PS2. I picked up Pac-Man World 2. I'm a huge fan of platformers. It's a guilty pleasure, so I ended up picking that up. And I remember as a kid, like we had a couple friends that had it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I would really like to go through and play that." So I picked that one up.
Those are fun games.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I have the remaster. I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna hop into World 2.
I also picked up the Legend of Heroes game that came out 3 and 4. Real big fan of the series. Saw a game, and reason I haven't got to 3 or 4 yet. I'm still on the first Trials of Cold Steel, but they just get stupid hard to find and expensive if you don't pick them up day one. So I went ahead and just snagged it.
Well, if you were to buy them both on PS4, they're both expensive games, so it's good to have them and then go for them later on.
Yes.
You can get the PAL copies for 1 and 2 cheap, but the US only had like collector's editions, so it's like all they came up with, and they came in steelbooks and stuff, so they're wicked expensive.
You can get them on the PS3 cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And they're on the Vita as well, so that's definitely the way to go.
And then this will be my last one: Transformers: War for Cybertron.
That's probably my best one in the series.
I've never played it before. I picked up the sequel to it at a pawn shop for really cheap. And I was looking for that one because that's the first one in the series. And then I came across it just the other day for a really good price. So I figured I'd pick it up.
The Transformer PS3 games have all shot up in price lately. That's for sure.
I got two more. I got Rhapsody and the Marvel Kingdom Chronicles. I never played the first one, but I got this for a good price, and I really enjoyed the humor to it and like all the singing and stuff. I just think it's kind of corny, but it's not bad at all. And then I got Cry Machina too, which I'm enjoying this one as well. I loved Cry Stars, so when I saw this, I had to get it.
Looks like Joe's pickups.
Yeah, I was on sale on Woot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
grabbed that too. It was like $25 or something.
Can't beat
Yeah, I wait for sales on everything like as long as I can, man. So that's the way to do it. Like right now is the best time to be buying all like PS4 games and cheap PS5 games. So many good deals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have this really bad problem of I'll get excited and I'll just be like, well, it's only like 30 or 40 bucks. I can swing that right now and I'll just get it. And then walk in next week and it's 15 bucks and I'm like, daggone it.
I do it if I want to play it. Like I spent 70 on Final Fantasy because I played it the day I got it. So if you're going to do that, then sure, have fun, knock yourself out. But if you're like me and you buy a game and it sits on your shelf for like a year before you play it, there's no reason to be doing that.
No.
Like I just
Right.
The only time
I got a rule that if I'm playing a game brand new, I sell it after and then I'll rebuy it years down the line when it's cheap. Because I hate that feeling of buying a game for $70 and then it's worth $10 like 3 years later. It sucks.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It happens. You overpay on some stuff, but you get good deals too. It works out. I just hate when a game's like rare and hard to find and you spend like a decent amount of money on it and then all of a sudden it just gets like reprinted or somebody finds a box of 10,000 of them and it's read it late. Like
It happens so often these days.
Yeah, I spent like the Disaster Report 4 on PS4, like that got like sold out really quick and it was really expensive and hard to find. I spent like $60 or something like that. And then like all of a sudden like it was everywhere again for $20. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely need to learn, like, because I mean, John's obviously more of a collector than I am. I need to learn some patience and when to pick up titles.
Play what you got, man. Before you go.
Absolutely.
Last week I was showing you guys my Grand Theft Auto Grandia Gran Turismo collection for PS1, and we're moving on to more G. So we have the Grinch. It's actually really expensive, so it's pretty cool to have. I've never played this one. It looks like a bit of fun, free action, like most of those PS1 titles. But yeah, this one's going for close to $100 these days. So
Really?
and it's got a cool cover too, really awesome.
Yeah.
I might have to hunt that up.
No idea about the difference between the US and the PAL versions, but yeah, the PAL version over in Australia is pretty pricey. Here we have Gunship. One of the older PS1 titles. It's got the full artwork. Unfortunately, it's not a SMUP. It's just like a army helicopter type game. It looks like it could be a SMUP though.
I love the Jungle Strike, Nuclear Strike, Soviet Strike games. Those
they're
helicopter
a lot of
games. Those are really fun.
They milked them on PS2. There's so many like clone versions of those games. It was bad.
Yeah.
Next we have Hardcore 4x4. This is like an off-road rally type game, like monster trucks and 4x4s and stuff.
I saw a movie with that title and it wasn't about trucks.
Now here we have a classic, and this one's basically turned into a meme these days, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's a meme because of how bad the characters look in this game, but it's actually a lot of fun. This is quite a fun Harry Potter game. So
I mean, Hagrid looks amazing. I that's my guilty pleasure is licensed video games. It's like if I see like a Shrek or Robots or something that was a movie tie-in, I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up to play it.
Dude,
especially
PS2
in
is your,
the era that you
your,
grew up in, because you're nostalgic for the movies, not just the games. It makes it feel like a double trip.
dude,
Here's
the
one
PS2
that-
has so many tie-ins, man, for so many weird shows, dude. You could go on an endless hunt for that stuff.
Oh yes, and I totally would do it, and I would play that and be like, yeah, this is garbage, but I love it.
Here's one that's really exciting to have in the collection. It's a series that I love, and it is Harvest Moon: Back to Nature. And
That
Super
is
Nintendo.
awesome.
It's in really beautiful condition, complete, and just beautiful Harvest Moon title. A little bit outdated these days, but it's still a lot of fun. I prefer to play the modern or Stardew Valley or something.
Yeah. No, Stardew Valley was a game I didn't expect myself to enjoy, but I did.
Oh, so good. We're getting, speaking of Stardew Valley, we're getting 1.6 on the 16th of March for PC, and me and Joe are going to be streaming a co-op playthrough together. So check that out, guys.
Let's go.
Definitely will.
I'll be doing that day one, Joe, 100%. 2 weeks.
That's right. I'll be drawing penises in your field with the hoe. Can't wait.
All right, so this next pack's actually pretty exciting. So here we have, this is called the Help Charity Collection. Now, this includes 3 games. It has Road Rash, Myst, and Broken Sword, where they're all quite pricey games. But you can get this charity pack for like $20. So to have 3 games at like $30, $50 each for $20 is really cool. And it comes in this big double case with 3 discs in it, manual as well. It's really cool.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. So, like when you play Myst and you get pissed off and you can't figure out what to do, you can just log on to Road Rash and smash someone in the head with a pipe.
That always soothes my frustrations.
Exactly. It's like I may not be smart enough for Myst, but I can smash some people in the face real good.
I wanted Myst, and I want Road Rage and Broken Sword, and I just couldn't afford any of them. So this is the replacement.
The Broken Sword games are cool. Those are fun, like point and click adventure games. If you guys have ever played
they're
those.
great fun titles. I haven't got any of them except that one.
I got like 3 of them. I think I have 2 on the PS1, and then I have 1 on the PS4. I think, and I'm missing a couple in the middle there.
Yeah, here's one that's pretty cool. This is called Hidden and Dangerous. It's sort of like a spy game, like a James Bond clone.
See, is the developer on that Acclaim?
Illusion Software.
Okay. I know sometimes the Acclaim titles are not the greatest, but they're still fun to play through just to kind of mess with.
Now, this next one's a bit of a banger for the collection. It's a pretty expensive game these days, and it's a good title. And that is Jackie Chan's Stuntmaster.
Oh, dude, I want that so bad, dude. That's like one of the games I still want on PS1 desperately. That's a great game.
Yeah, unfortunately this one in both regions is like $100 to
wicked
$150 these days,
Yeah.
and even like incomplete loose copies go for a lot of money. So if you can see this one, grab onto it. And I got the Australian version in the small case. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like a beat 'em up, but it's got like pretty good graphics, honestly, for a PS1 game, and it's a lot of fun. That's just a cool game. Jackie Chan's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, that movie tie-in thing, real nostalgic with Jackie Chan movies from the 90s.
I remember he had that.
Here's another really fun game, and this game's cheap. You can pick this up for like $10, and that's Jeremy McGrath Supercross 98. I love the old motorbike games where you do tricks and get points and races in this. Yeah, it's so much fun. It reminds me of a lot of Tony Hawk's and Bob Barker and different games like that. These are just so much fun. You can play them with multiplayer with friends, play the campaign mode, still have a really good time. Oh, another classic. Here we have Jet Rider 2.
Yeah.
Everything I said about the last game applies to this one. Arcade Racer, that's again so much fun in split screen. And it has the original vertical split screen.
That's Jet Moto, right? That's Jet Moto here.
I'm pretty
same
sure.
Game?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the same game.
You know what they do? They change the name of the titles. Oh, not to be sold separately. I wonder what this was bundled with. If you know, let me know. And this one. Rest in peace, Jonah Lomu. Here we have Jonah Lomu Rugby. Now, if you don't know rugby, you won't know that Jonah Lomu is probably the greatest rugby player to ever play the game. He was from New Zealand. He had a bit of a growth disorder and unfortunately passed away at 40 because of it. But because of that, he was a big man and he could run the 100 in 10 seconds flat. So he was just absolutely insane. But he got his own rugby game, and yeah, here we have it on PS1.
And now he lives on forever in PS1 form.
Yeah, well, the legacy of Jonah Lomu is just forever.
That's
now.
how I want to be immortalized. Is like a bunch of blocky square pixel. You know, that'd be great. Like
That's
Play as the newest protagonist, Joe Rad. Meow.
in rugby, I'll take it. That'd be pretty rad.
a Lego game.
I want to be in
Radical?
I wanna
Joe
be in
Rad.
Def Jam fight for New York. Yeah, exactly.
There you
Yes.
go.
All right, Joe, you're up. What have you got first?
I have one thing. That's it. So don't get too excited, everybody. It's been like 24 hours since the last show. It's like less than that. But all I did is I finally picked up the silver PS5 controller. It's
I
pretty
did not-
fire, dude.
I did not know that was out. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, they have they came out with 3 new colors. They came out with the silver, volcanic red, and then like cobalt blue or something like that. Basically, it's this one, which is the best one, a dark blue. So there's the light blue right there. They came out with like a darker blue, which looks good. And they came out with a red, which is like extremely similar to this red right here. It's like very, very similar. So like it's honestly irritating me because like I planned on getting like all of the colors and all of the plates,
Oh, it's
but
like
I don't
white
want
tape, you know,
I don't want to spend another $150 on a red plate and a red controller that looks exactly like the red plate and the red controller I have. That's freaking dumb. Like it's so dumb. Why didn't they make orange, green? Like
Yeah.
there's other
dumb.
colors, guys.
The only
Yeah.
It's like
haven't
it's two
made-
different teams picking, and then they have no idea that they've already done the red one.
It just irritates me. But I do like this silver. It's not quite the real silver. So like I have like here's the real anniversary controller they came out with color. Although this is like a janky one with a fake back. Somebody I don't even want to talk about this. I bought this. Somebody was like, "Oh, this is a good controller." I got it like $10, but then I'm like, "Oh, you asses! This is a fake back." Anyway,
$10 for controllers.
yeah, it's like $10. This is like $80 if you have like the real back, which I do have a real
It's
one
got the
too.
fake
so.
button on the
Wait.
front too, or is that
You're
how
talking
it's
about-
supposed to be?
You were
No,
talking
it's the
about
right
the
one.
controller and the plates. I picked up this one,
Oh,
but
nice,
I
dude.
can't get the plates, and I'm so mad about it.
The plate's like $250.
I know
Right.
they're insane right now, and I was hoping that Sony would be nice and give us another drop, and that would be the end of it. But no, Sony was like, "We're done."
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous that they did that.
Yeah.
So I didn't even the plate sold out like immediately, and I got pissed off, and I just bought the whole console. So I have I bought so I have the Spider-Man plates because I bought the damn console because I was not having that noise because I just gone through the Hogwarts controller selling out, and I was furious about that. And,
Yeah.
like that's just gotten more and more and more expensive, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. So I was like, same thing's gonna happen with these plates. I'm not gonna make more, and they're just gonna get more and more and more expensive. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. So I just
Yep.
ended up buying the
I
console.
wish I had done that. So, like hindsight's 2020. I would have totally done that if I known, but unfortunately,
Guys, I
That's-
can confirm that chat have correctly named this week's question because Cassidy Bays has named it with Scooby Doo and the Cyber Chase. Well done, Cassidy.
That
Oh
is
my
impressive.
God.
That's my girlfriend.
Well done.
That was a tough one, so well done.
yeah, I don't know how she got that, but that's awesome. I love that game though. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's my partner.
Actually done
Yeah,
well. In
that's
fact,
awesome.
we all got tested last night on that question, and none of us got it right. So well done.
Congratulations. I'm impressed.
The Scooby Doobies.
You have to go
I
home.
get it.
Yeah, I
now.
know. Tell her yeah, I didn't know she. Yeah, that's awesome.
Glad you showed up to support.
I was
No.
looking at it like pursuit. What pursuit? But it was chase at the end, and yeah, I
Yeah.
had no idea what the title was. Yeah, that was cool.
So,
Hey,
how long you guys
guys,
been doing your
haven't asked about
podcast
your-
for?
Yeah, I want
So-
to know about you.
Yeah, you think the exact same thing I was, Fixie. That's so funny.
So we just recorded our second episode. We done the first episode about 3 weeks ago. We delayed episode 2 on account of this. We wanted to be able just to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That, and it gives us a little bit more time to edit and put it out. So it's still fairly new out there, but I feel like we fell right into a groove with the first episode. I know we were worried that there's going to be like some awkward silence,
Yeah.
and that we were going to run out of conversation after 20 minutes. But I think for each episode we've done over an hour, and we're like, that's excellent, cool.
It was a
Yeah,
lot
no,
better.
that's the go, and that's the thing about podcasts is once you start talking, it's more of a case of I got all these things to say and not enough time to say it.
Yes.
I mean, I just keep making jokes about JP's mom, and it's like a gift that keeps on giving.
That's at least 50 minutes of each episode.
Yeah.
It is. It's like he's trying to talk about games, and I'm talking about Megan his mom. It's great.
Great time. Everybody has fun.
So, guys, right now the channel isn't called the X Co-op Gamers; it's Captain Nemo Productions.
Yes.
That is correct. It's Captain Nemo Productions. It may change to Exco Gamers in the future, but right now it's going to stick to the production's name.
Well, guys, I've got the link to their YouTube channel in the description, so be sure to go and drop a sub and check out their podcast.
Yes,
I
please.
checked out the first episode; it was a lot of fun. So I'm sure the second one's going to be just as good. We've had a lot of fun tonight. So
We actually
Yeah,
we started to record episode 2, and we were using 2 devices, one to record the video, one to record the audio, and we talked for 20 minutes without recording the video. So we had 20 minutes of audio that we're not sure what we're going to do. I may use it for promos for TikTok because I had a joke in there I was so proud of,
It was good.
and it's gone now, wasted.
Yeah. Just take some still frames and edit it up and throw it on TikTok. Make something out of it.
There
I
we
like
go. That's what
That's the
we'll
good
do.
thing about doing these shows live is we know it's working from the start because everyone will be like saying we can't hear you or we can't see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've recorded YouTube videos before and then you watch it back and you realize that like the mic was on mute or one thing wasn't working and it's just like how can I put that energy into another video if my coffee's worn out now, you know? If there are videos on my channel that like are rushed because I've recorded it twice.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I feel like with the second recording of ours, like we had so much energy in the beginning half, and then episode 2 we were like, yes, we have to talk about this again.
Oh yes.
And then, like, the other
Let me ask
half,
that question I just asked you 5 minutes ago.
yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you the same question because we're on the same topic.
Dude, wait till you get to like 200 episodes deep.
Oh
And
man.
people like ask you questions. You're like, well, I've answered this 436 times so far in the last 2 years, but yeah, I like Nintendo. It's like, after a while, it gets tougher and tougher. And
I can
tougher
answer
and
all
tougher.
Joe's questions and he can answer all mine at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well, guys, we might call that a night. I got a mate coming around soon, so I got somewhere to be, unfortunately. But thanks so much for coming on, guys. It was a lot of fun.
That was
and
fun.
a lot of laughs too. That was
Thank
awesome.
you so much for having us. We really
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Hey,
actually,
you're welcome. It was fun.
yeah,
So
I've had a
what-
lot of fun.
Do you guys do your podcast the same time every week?
So, with the exception of last week where we delayed that episode, it's going to be. I think we're going to do it this. It's going to come out this Wednesday. I
Yeah,
think.
this Wednesday, and then it's every about week.
Yeah, every other Wednesday then.
That's the key, doing it at the same time every week, so people realize, this is when I'm going to watch the podcast.
Very cool. So yeah, every other Wednesday.
Yes.
That is
Make
correct.
sure you guys subscribe, catch it up, and yeah, you go see
Absolutely.
me in the chat. Pop by and say hi too.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
So have a good night, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Good night,
Thanks for
everybody.
having us, guys.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show them tree, gonna show you things you've never